Hello, welcome to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. Today I will be discussing renting versus buying. Right now, the market is at its all time high in the sense of more people wanting to purchase, but less inventory for them to buy. In addition to that, rents are extremely high. Interest rates are low, very low. Some lenders are less than 3%. And if you calculate 3% on a price of a home over 30 years, you're looking at a home that's $200,000 paying less than purchasing than you would in renting. So, what is the best time to buy versus rent? It's always beneficial to buy no matter what. And the benefits of buying are one, tax write off. When you buy, you can write off your interest from your loan if you have a mortgage. You can write off the taxes you pay on your monthly taxes on your property. You can write those off. Versus when you rent, you're paying $1,000 say for rent a month, $1,200 $12,000 a year, and you can't write any of that off. So that alone is a reason you would buy versus rent. Second advantage, it can help pay for, if you have children, their college tuition. Let me give you an example. Say you buy your home in 2000 and you just had a child. Your mortgage payments is $1,000 a month. So you have a 30-year mortgage. In 20 years, that amount that you were paying would have reduced the amount that you owe on the property, which what we call, once you start paying off the debt, gives you what we call equity in the property. That means if you bought the property for $100,000, say in 20 years, you paid off $70,000 of the debt. You have $70,000 worth of equity. Now, there's other ways of having equity as well. You buy a property for $100,000, 20 years later, the properties in that area that you had initially bought for $100,000 is now worth $200,000. It doubled in value in 20 years. So not only do you have the $70 worth of equity from paying down the loan that you had attached to the property, you have an additional $100,000 of equity because the value in the area has improved. That's why it's important when you get in your home to maintain it and improve it for appreciation versus not taking care of it and it depreciates in the value. Real estate should always appreciate. So with this equity in the home, you have the option to get what they call a line of credit for up to the value of leaving that you have up to 80% of equity left. 20% of equity left in the home. So if you owe $100,000 and you only owe $20,000 on a house and you have $80,000 worth of equity, you can take out $60,000 of that home as a line of credit, or you can refinance the house and draw out all of the equity except for 20% and put that into a new loan and take those funds to help pay for your child's college tuition, makes repairs on the home, pay for that dream trip. That is a way of building building equity in it. And Jada, don't be afraid of buying a home. It can be a fearful experience, but I've had clients I had a client that was a physician and she was buying a home and she was saying, I'm afraid, what if I decide I want to up and move and I'm stuck in this loan? And I was like, the biggest commitment that anybody ever makes is purchasing, paying student loans, getting student loans. You should be more fearful of getting a student loan than you are of purchasing a home. Because one, with purchasing a home, you can receive value from it just as a student loan. But people go to college and get a student loan and can't even get a job. But if you buy a house, you build equity in it, you have money that you can work with to continue to build whatever dreams you have. So don't let it be a fear factor. You just need someone that can work with you and coach you through the process to make it easier and understanding for you to remove some of that fear. So if you want, you can call our office, 773-568-1138, and we can walk you through that process. However, I was saying you will have that equity in it, and you can use that equity to pay for a trip, pay for your child's college tuition if you have children, pay for things, and you still have a monthly payment, but you have getting something back of what you put into it. Whereas when you're renting, you don't get anything back for what you're paying for rent. So that's the second advantage of it. Third advantage is, again, rents right now are more expensive than purchasing and paying a mortgage payment. So it's like, without a shadow of doubt, the advantage of owning. Now, the disadvantage of owning versus renting, if you're renting an apartment, only thing you have to be worried about in your apartment is cleaning the unit, maintaining it, and not stopping up the water lines and stuff. However, the landlord is responsible for everything: cleaning the halls, fixing the roof if it's leaking, unstopping your sink if it's due to just normal wear and tear. And those are extra costs that as a homeowner you wouldn't get the support of, and you have to find someone to clean the gutters, mow the lawn, unless you buy in a condo, a community environment where it's association fees for someone to pay for the lawn to be mowed and pay for the gutters to be cleaned. They have those expenses that they put into your assessments. So that's the only advantage that I can give you in the sense of renting versus buying. There's 3 positives for buying and 1 positive for renting. So if you did the math, buying would be more beneficial for you than renting. So I hope this helps someone understand buying a house can be a fearful process because you're into debt for 30 years for an asset. However, if you keep your insurance on your property paid up, if it has a fire, insurance covers that. They put you up into a place. If you have any water damage or anything, you have something to help you through that process. So whereas renting, when the building catches on fire and you lose all your personal contents, if you don't have renter's insurance, you are just out of all of the personal contents. So you have to keep renter's insurance as well. So I say this again, if you had to pick between renting and buying, renting would be less likely for you to prosper than if you're buying. And fourth thing, buying brings about generational wealth and security. Once you have paid the home off, you have something that you can leave to your children, to your family, that has value in it. It's more valuable than a car, more valuable than jewelry. It gives you your return off of it. So there's 4 advantages that you can build that generational wealth, keep the house and the home and the family. So if you bought a house in 2020 and 60 years later in 2060, you can leave this behind to someone that you love if you want to. And another thing, it can help you with your retirement plan. So say, for instance, you don't have anyone to leave anything to. You can do what they call a reverse mortgage on a home that you purchase. So whatever the value you have in that home, the bank would allow you to take a loan out and take all of the equity out of the home and live off of it. So at 65, 70, you say, hey, I don't have anybody to leave this to. I have this home that's worth $400,000. My Social Security check isn't enough. My pension isn't enough. I didn't save right like I should have to prepare for retirement. And you have, but one thing you do have is the home that you purchased with no mortgage on it, and that home is worth $300,000 or $400,000. The bank will give you that money and let you have it, and then whenever you pass away, the bank just takes possession of the home because they gave you the monies to live out of off the house that you purchased. So I hope this information helps someone and makes it a little easier for them to decide to purchase and stop renting. Thank you for tuning in to Tiffany Teach Tuesday, and I will see you guys next week Tuesday.